Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Moore, Alderwoman Murphy,
Here.
Alderman Kotar, Alderwoman Martin, Alderwoman Boyd,
Here.
Alderman Bosley,
Aye.
I thought Kotar was
Here.
Here.
Alderwoman Middlebrook,
Here.
Chairman Boyd.
Present.
That's 5 present, you have quorum.
Okay, the first board bill before us is Board Bill number 76, sponsored by Alderman Joe Vaccaro of the 23rd Ward. Those who don't know Alderman Joe Vaccaro, he's the king of stop signs for the city of St. Louis. And today is his birthday, so happy birthday, Alderman Joe.
Happy
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And for my birthday wish, I would like favorable consideration. I think I have 2 blocks left. In fact, I'm thinking about.
2 quarters left.
And maybe, we might have them all filled. In fact, I was thinking about just doing a board bill to do all stop signs in the 23rd Ward every 4 feet. Nobody seems to stop at them anyway, but people like them. So, again, it's a board bill. It's asking for a stop sign, and I don't have the thing in front of me, but it's asking for a stop sign at the intersection there.
Childress and Bradley.
Yes. So, here we go. Yeah, so on Bradley and Childress, and as you all know, people ask for these things, and I would assume the majority of us put them in. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, but I would appreciate your favorable consideration.
Okay, so why don't we go ahead and see if there's any questions. Alderwoman Murphy.
No questions.
Okay, Alderwoman Boyd.
Is this by school or is this,
You know, oddly enough, it is by a school.
is, okay.
Yeah, it is, but what, and truthfully, we need traffic enforcement.
Yeah.
And until we get traffic enforcement, people are asking for speed humps, stop signs, and all kinds of things, and none of these work. Them speed humps, the cars go over them, not all cars, but a lot of them just go over about the same speed, except they make a lot more noise and vibrate the house they're close to. And I don't know how we get enforcement. I talked to the chief, I gave him my idea, and that would have been on major streets, put shell cars out, but then man them like every other day or every 4th day, and just off and on, so that this way when people see the shell car, they won't go, oh, well, I'm used to it, it's a shell car, because you'll never know. Sometimes there'll be somebody in it, you get pulled over, and other times you won't, but, and I don't know how we're gonna get the police to patrol it. I can't even get the police to show up if your house was robbed, or when we got car break-ins, they'll call you on the phone. So getting them to, so in the meantime, people like stop signs. So, but yes, and that actually is not too far from a school.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Bosley.
No questions.
Alderwoman Middlebrook.
No questions.
I don't care for the proliferation of stop signs in the city of St. Louis. As you said, they barely work. And in my mind, they become more dangerous than they become helpful. I'm reminded most recently, a month or so ago, at the corner of Natural Bridge and Darby, there are stop signs, basically eastbound and westbound traffic. And a young man lost his life. Well, he was, I guess, my age. I guess I can be a young man. So anyway, he stepped off the curb leaving Family Dollar and boop, hit and run. And he lost his life. But the expectation was that the car would stop at the stop sign. And I am troubled by all the hit and runs that we have in the city of St. Louis because people don't really stop at the stop signs. In most neighborhoods, the best you would get is, as Alderman Murphy said, tap and roll.
Tap and roll, tap and roll.
And it's scary. It's scary because people don't care about a stop sign. And when we're a city that's talking about eliminating pollution and being more environmentally friendly, the more stop signs we put up, the less environmentally friendly we are. And the testimony to that are these new cars that they're coming out with. A lot of the cars, when you're sitting for too long, I don't know if it's 10 seconds, but they just shut off.
That's my car.
And oh, you have one of those fancy cars? Well, we know.
No, it ain't
it's rich
fancy,
around
it just shuts off.
here. It takes a lot of money to own one of those cars.
It's not working well.
It's not working well. But anyway, that's one way to eliminate some of the emissions, with stopping at a lot of stop signs or just being at a stoplight for a long period of time. So I'll vote for the bill because it's in your ward, but I really wish the city of St. Louis, if we could come up with truly a citywide policy where everybody has to adhere to, because some of these stop signs are unnecessary, just like speed humps. So we're dealing with all these speed humps, which a lot of people think, oh, let's get a speed hump that's going to slow down. And it slows it down to a point, but I tell you what, I've been outside and all of a sudden you hear something go, boom. I'm like, what is that, a car accident? No, it's a car that went over the hump too fast and the frame just slammed down on the asphalt. So most of the good people like you and I, we slow down at the speed hump, we stop at the stop sign. But the bad people that we're doing this for, because we're not doing it for the good people. The 10% of the people that we're doing this for, it creates a nuisance for those of us who are law-abiding citizens. And
Well, we, me as chairman, you as vice chairman of public safety, we need to come up with something with the police to actually do something about this.
yeah, and trust me, I've talked to the police about this. It drives me nuts. I've watched police officers watch people blow a stop sign, and they don't do anything about it. But the reason they don't do anything about it is because they're already on another call. And that call is more of a high priority than somebody that just ran a stop sign. It's hard to make people do the right thing.
Well, they need to.
More enforcement would be great. I personally think we should beef up our traffic division and, therefore have more traffic patrols. But when you already have a shortage of police officers, it's a catch-22. Continuing to do this is not going to solve the problem. The only way to solve the problem is to create a standard whereby people are afraid to run stop signs in the city or stop lights, because they run those as well. People think all of a sudden a stoplight is going to change anything. It does not. They run a stop light at Goodfellow and Martin Luther King quite often. Until we have more enforcement, which we can't afford to, which is our double-edged sword. Do you want people to, deal with the folks that are selling drugs in the neighborhood, or deal with the small quality of life issues? But when you're in a real nice neighborhood, running a stop sign is a really big deal. But when you're in a neighborhood where we have a lot of challenges with a lot of vacant buildings and socioeconomically depressed people, getting those drug dealers off the corner is a really big deal. So then, so what do you do? How do you prioritize? And the way we unfortunately prioritize legislatively is we put up stop signs and speed humps. And they're not free, especially speed humps.
Right, and they're not effective, but it's like you said, it's a neighborhood thing. They want them. So I introduced bills because they want them, but I agree.
Yeah, I'm going to ask.
Going to get somebody killed, put a crosswalk in the middle of a busy intersection. Nobody's going to stop.
I'm going to probably ask. I'll probably meet with the Deanna. Deanna's the traffic commissioner, and because I'm curious as to scientifically what kind of difference is it making. Scientifically, have we reduced the amount of accidents at that intersection? How many tickets have been written? Because if you put a stop sign up, but again, nobody enforces, then what's the point, right? People are going to now they're going to complain. They keep running the stop sign. We need to do something about it. So anyway, that's just a soapbox I got on. I'm not going to belabor that. You guys, it's a pet peeve of mine. But I'll entertain a motion on Board Bill number 76.
I move we pass Board Bill 76 out of committee with a do pass recommendation.
Second.
It's been moved by Alderwoman of the 13th, second by the Alderwoman of the 27th. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Moore, Alderwoman Murphy,
Aye.
Alderman Kotor, Alderwoman Martin, Alderwoman Boyd,
Aye.
Alderman Bosley,
Aye.
Alderwoman Middlebrook, Chairman Boyd.
Aye.
5 aye votes.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, next board bill before is Board Bill number 80, sponsored by Alderman Brandon Bosley of the 3rd Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Board Bill 80 is just Board Bill introducing a block off John and Penrose at the intersection of Penrose. Last year we had 3 young ladies murdered there. Right now there's a lot of activity that we all kind of know that it's happening kind of around the city that we're trying to have a deterrent at. So we also have a lot of cars flying through the street, and we got kids on the street. So the neighbors have asked that is maybe a safety measure that they would like to take. We've talked to the fire department. They're okay with it. Of course, police can still get through because it's one of the widest streets we have over there. The fire department can back up and down the street, and the police should be able to pull through without an issue. So once again, it's pretty simple. There is a resident from that particular block that would just like to give her concerns and explain to you why they think that this is something that is necessary. And she's here to speak on behalf of the request.
Okay, before she speaks, would you like to introduce your amendment?
Yes, sir. So the Board Bill 80 as amended, I initially, after talking to the residents, thought that they wanted it blocked off at the major intersection where most of the traffic, where the natural traffic comes through the neighborhood on a major thoroughfare, which is North Florissant. But they wanted it blocked off at Penrose, which is a one-way street. There are no houses on the left side of the street that are occupied, and on the right side of the street, that's where the intersection is, and it's a one-way already, so it's pretty easy for the traffic commission, anybody else to kind of just really be able to adjust pretty quickly without any interruptions in services, ambulances, anything like that. But we're just changing the street from North Florissant to Penrose.
Okay, you want to introduce your amendment?
Yes, sir. I would like to introduce Board Bill 80 as amended.
Amendment number 1 to Board Bill number 80.
So we're just striking out.
You want to? Your motion is to.
My motion is to introduce amendment number 1 to Board Bill 80.
Okay,
Second.
Thank you.
but let's go ahead and discuss it. Okay.
All right. So Board Bill 80 is basically we're just changing the intersection of where we want to block the street off, which is said in Board Bill 80 at North Florissant and John Street. We just want to change that to Penrose and John.
Okay, let's see if anybody any questions about your amendment.
All right.
Alderwoman Murphy,
No questions.
Alderwoman Boyd,
No questions about the
Alderwoman
amendment.
Middlebrook.
No questions.
Okay. So, here no further questions. I'll entertain a motion on amendment number 1 for Board Bill number 80. No, we've in a second. So, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Moore, Alderwoman Murphy,
Aye.
Alderman Kotar, Alderwoman Martin, Alderwoman Boyd,
Aye.
Alderman Bosley,
Aye.
Alderwoman Middlebrook,
Aye.
Chairman Boyd.
Aye. Okay, now what's before us is Board Bill number 80 as amended, and we do have a speaker who has signed up, Ms. Huckleberry. If you would come to the mic. It's your time to shine. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Sparkle Huckleberry. It's my birthday too. Would I get a,
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
actually Thursday. I come on behalf of the residents in the 4200 block of John. I've been a resident of that block for over 20 years. I've been a homeowner for 20 years exactly now. My grandmother gave me the house. I was raised in that neighborhood. Now I'm dealing with a lot of non-residents and people that I'm not familiar with selling drugs and using the vacant properties as storage to store their drugs and store their guns. On the 14th of June, my kids was outdoors playing and my 6-year-old found some dope on the street. That's not a risk I'm willing to take. Now, I do feel like sometimes I have muscle and I go out there and I tell them that they have to leave at a certain time. Sometimes they listen to me, sometimes they don't. Don't realize the risk that I'm taking for myself until I get back in my house. Like, I'm not protecting myself by going out here and say, hey, y'all gotta go because you're not visiting anyone over here. But it's getting to a point where I walk out the door and don't know who this person is. And it's not safe for me. And it's also a few older women that's still on the block, that's been on the block, that maybe grew up with my grandmother. They are literally afraid to ride up the street and ask somebody to move their double park car because they're not familiar with who's on the block. So I went around the neighborhood from my street to the adjoining streets all the way up to Prairie and asked for people to sign this petition to get this street blocked off. And I got my signatures. I brought them along with me today.
You want to give them to the clerk?
I also have it notarized. I'm sorry.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see if anybody have any questions for you, Ms. Huckleberry.
You say you don't?
Let's see,
Oh,
if you don't mind.
Okay.
Alderwoman Murphy.
No questions. I appreciate you doing all this for your area there. I know how hard that can be.
yeah, I have to live there.
I know. I understand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Boyd.
I just want to compliment you, and it's ironic because I was just talking at a ward meeting about that, and we have a lot of residents that's like you, that's coming out, taking their communities back. And I understand how you feel. You said once you go back in the house, you was like, why did I do that?
Why did I do that?
Right.
I have
right.
not a bat or
Right.
belt or nothing to protect myself.
But you know what? They call that mother instinct. And so you were protecting your cubs and making sure they were okay. So I appreciate what you're doing and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Okay, Alderwoman Middlebrook.
I have no questions.
Okay. Ms. Huckleberry, your street looks fairly wide, so
It is.
I guess just people turning around would not be a big deal?
Not
to-
at
to
all.
go back
It used to be a two-way.
Okay,
And my gram that lived on the corner, 4201, she got it changed to a one-way from, I want to say, the late 80s because drug activity and all of that. But that slowed down, it died down. Now we got a new breed of kids who don't value life and don't care about the property. So it's my turn now. Graham would be proud.
let me ask you this. Do you think by it being so easy to just swing around that it would change much as far as them, people, the customers coming down to buy their drugs and then just doing that little U-turn to go back out?
What's going on is, it's a one-way going up towards Carter. They're coming down Penrose,
Okay.
flying. They bypass the stop sign right at the corner of John and Penrose and go flying up John. They're literally speeding up John, but they have to stop at the corner of John and Carter because they got a blind spot.
Okay. Okay. All right, no further questions. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for what you're doing for the community. We need more constituents like you. That's how we get it done. It's all about the constituents. Okay, Alderman, you recognize the close on your bill.
Yes, sir.
You want to close on it?
Yes, I renew my motion.
You have to make a motion.
I would like to make a motion to pass Board Bill 80 as amended out with the due pass recommendation.
Second.
Then moved and second. Anybody have an objection to previous roll?
No.
Hearing no objection, Board Bill 80 as amended comes out of committee with due pass recommendation.
I hope it helps.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. We have Zach Fortune here from the street department. I'm gonna put Zach on the spot. Zach, you wanna come up?
Where is that?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, how you doing today?
Doing well. How can I help you
Okay.
today?
For those who don't know Zach, Zach's pretty much well, all the aldermen should know, he's our liaison with the street department. And there's been a lot of complaints out in the neighborhood about, the street department's been slow at taking care of potholes and different things like that. But it's not because they're unwilling to work, it's because of, all the the drama we've suffered from all the rain. So Zach, you want to give us a nice positive update about what's going on with the street department now that we've kind of gotten past some of the flooding issues, or are we still dealing with some of the flooding issues?
Well, currently, we're still dealing with the flooding details, or flooding issues. We just cleaned up Alabama and Marceau, so that street's wide open now. Now, we're leaving River to Pear the way it is because we don't know what's going to come in the next couple weeks, couple months. So we probably won't start that cleanup process for at least another 2 months, maybe 3 months. LKS, Lenore K. Sullivan, is still underwater. We probably won't be able to get down there until the beginning of July or mid-July, something around then. And that's gonna be at least a month-long project to clean that area up. But other than that, we got crews out asphalting, trying to catch up on our utility cuts, our potholes, and we have a stack of cave-ins. We're way behind right now, but we are putting these guys in, trying to go to 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, and try to get caught up.
Out of curiosity, are you guys, with all the work orders you have, are you going ward by ward, or are you just going work out? How's that process work?
Yes, we will send crews in ward by ward.
Okay.
And we'll bunch up as many as we can, and then we'll send them out ward by ward, yes.
Okay. Something else I forgot, but I'm just going to give the committee a chance to ask questions since we have your expertise before us. Alderman Murphy, any questions about the street?
No, none at all. I said, yeah, I was going to ask similar how we were doing with the flood thing and all that, and I'm glad he mentioned that about the ward, doing it, at ward at a time. I think that's a good idea to get it all done in one area, at one time. But no, I understand when it rains, it rains. I said we have to do what we can do. And I think the street department's doing a fine job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Boyd.
Thank you all, because when I contact you about the dumping and stuff, so your team is doing great with that. I really appreciate it. When you say you're going ward by ward, so will someone from Strees notify the alderperson when they'll be coming to their ward to start doing the projects, or is it a time frame that they'll say, we'll come to the second ward around this time, or?
In what regards, in dumping or for potholes?
Dumping, you all act immediately on that, but on the, like the potholes or paving streets, or?
In paving, yes, we will notify you prior, and we're
Okay.
going to hopefully get started within 3 weeks, we're hoping.
Okay.
But potholes, no, we're just,
Coming in?
yeah, we're just coming in, knocking out as many as we can, and then moving on.
Okay, so are you all riding the wards to see where potholes the worst, or are you relying on people to let
We're
you
relying
know?
on people to contact us, contact the Citizen Service Bureau, and to report those. And like
Okay.
I said, we're sitting on maybe 1,000 to 1,200 currently, just throughout the city. So that's what we're trying to dwindle that down day by day.
Okay, all right. And then any like special projects or something that we were trying to work, that's something that you all notify us ahead when it's going to happen, or?
Yes, ma'am, we'll notify you when our 50/50 program comes into your ward, whenever we're going to actually come in and do a clean sweep with our debris crews, or of course, our paving crews will notify you prior.
Okay, all right. Thank you again for the good job you all do.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Okay, Alderman Bosley.
I appreciate you all also. Whenever we ask for requests, you all respond pretty quickly. So
Thank you, sir.
I know we got a lot of issues that we need to deal with. So even with them being spread apart, you always find your way to get enough done to where people feel appreciated.
Yes, sir.
So thank you.
Thank you, I'll pass it on.
Yes, sir. You all now have to pick up, if I'm correct, the debris, well, not the debris, the trees and sticks also, like that they cut down from the vacant buildings.
That's correct.
I know that's a new process, and a lot of neighbors haven't been seeing them picked up regularly. And I know it's new, so I'm just trying to get an idea of how you do that also. Do you go ward by ward when after forestry cuts it down and then pick up the debris, or is it?
Yes, what the program in place now, forestry will go through their day-to-day operation. They may be in one ward, and then they will contact our debris supervisor for us to come up and follow up behind them to clean up any major debris that they'll place in the street. And that's the way it works. But our debris crews, they also have another section that'll go ward to ward, and then they'll have another crew that'll actually answer CSB requests and things of that nature.
Okay, awesome. So, yeah, just wanted to get an idea, because I know a few neighbors had requested things, and they had maybe like 19 days before that request was followed up with. And I understand that, I mean, it's all around the city, and it's a new
Absolutely, and there may
program,
be a communication drop between forestry and our supervisor, and that's what I'm here for. I'm your liaison. Any issues like that, you can bring to me, and I can find out the answers for you or get the situation resolved.
Okay, awesome. I certainly appreciate you.
Absolutely.
You all are doing an excellent job. Last year, of course, it was all of the weeds growing up along the buildings, and this year is the weeds in the middle of the street. So I think regardless, until we kind of get a hold on the vegetation in the city, we'll always have people that are complaining. But I think you are doing an excellent job this year, and with you all kind of switching up the way you do things.
Yes, thank you. I'll pass it along.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alderman Middlebrook.
Hello.
Hi, Alderwoman.
I think that you all are doing excellent when I call. The turnaround is like almost immediately. I would like to know, how is the cleanup, or have you started on Riverview?
On River, I believe we have started on Riverview. I haven't been up there in the last week, but I'm pretty sure last week they dispatched some front loaders up there.
Okay.
To start cleaning up. I know we took down the Riverview floodgate.
Okay.
That we haven't installed in over 20 years, since '93.
Right.
So that was a venture in itself, but yes, I believe the cleanup operation has begun. It actually might be over with.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
No more questions.
Okay, Zach, let me just make sure I'm clear, following up on what Alderman Bosley asked.
Yes.
So forestry is going out and they're cutting shrubbery and branches out of these yards, and they're cutting, and they're doing a good job. And
Yes.
they pull it all out in the street. And then somebody contacts a debris crew to come and pick up all the vegetation?
Yes, as far as I know, once they remove as much tree debris and rubbish that they can from those lots, they put it out in the street, and then they contact somebody
And
from our department.
What do you guys do with it?
We come up, pick it up, load it into trucks, and
But
move on.
forestry used to come by with because they have that shredder, it's not a shredder, but they stick all twigs and trees, and they just
Wood
throw all-
chipper.
then they push it into a truck, and I guess they can make mulch or something out of
And
it.
that's very possible that they still have that operation in place as well. But when
But
you have your major tree trunks and things of that nature, I'm sure that our crews are coming in
Okay, for that
to
big
assist
major
them.
stuff, okay.
Yes.
Because, I know the first time it happened, I had to calm a constituent down. They were screaming and hollering, oh, they came in and they left all this stuff in the street, and I figured somebody was probably coming behind them to pick it up.
Yes.
But forestry has, done a better job at blowing the grass and all that stuff back into the yard or picking it up or something, because that was a nuisance in itself when they come and clean and whack everything and then left, grass clippings.
We had a
everywhere.
situation last week, Alderwoman Boyd sent me a email showing a citizen cleaning up an entire lot, and he put,
Yeah.
2 truckloads out in the tree lawn area and street, and a phone call, and we got it removed for
He
you.
got it right away, yeah, he did. I mean, this senior cleaned it up himself. It was behind the property, it wasn't even his property.
Okay, thank you, Zach, appreciate.
You're welcome. Thank you,
doing
guys.
for Street
Appreciate it.
Department. We're going to consider the streets traffic and refuge. Thank you. Madam Clerk, we need to approve some minutes. I move that we approve the minutes of June 18th, 2019.
Second. Previous
Any
roll.
objection to previous vote? Hearing none, the minutes of June 18th are approved. And now, Madam Clerk, we're done?
We're done. Very good.
Okay. So now we're declare the Streets, Traffic, and Refuge Committee adjourned.
Adjourn.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Oh, I